All right, co-main event time.
Oh boy, here we go.
UFC 288. One of the harder fights that I have had to think about picking. We have Belal, remember the name, Muhammad, taking on Gilbert Durinho Burns in the welterweight division. A very consequential fight at 170 pounds. Belal, remember the name, the 34-year-old out of Chicago, Illinois. His record stands at 22 victories with 3 defeats and 1 no contest, 16 of his wins coming by way of decision. He has been on an absolute tear. I don't have his full record in front of me. He is on quite a win streak since his no contest to Leon Edwards back in March of 2021. He's on a 4-fight win streak, defeating Demi Maia, Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque, and Sean Brady, finishing Sean Brady in the second round. Gilbert Burns on a tear of his own. Durinho is the 36-year-old out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. His record stands at 22 victories with 5 defeats, 6 knockouts with 9 submission victories. He's on a 2-fight win streak, defeating Neil Magny by triangle choke and Jorge Masvidal. And what's really impressing me about Gilbert Burns is his frequency as of right now. He fought in January. He said, "Put me back in, coach." He fought in April, and now it is May, and he's fighting. So my man wants to be active. He wants to collect checks this calendar year, and he's looking great, man. He's looking really, really great. Without knowing what the odds are for Mark right now, I'm going to guess that these odds are very, very close. To me, this fight feels like a pick'em. These guys seem to be very evenly matched, skill for skill. They're the same height, very similar build and stature, but they're both very solid welterweights who are on a little bit of the shorter end of 170-pound division. That being said, it's not that I'm flipping a coin, but I just feel more confident in Gilbert Burns right now. I love this guy's motor in the fight. He has such a burning spirit of competition and a will to win. Obviously his ground game, his pedigree is world class. Now, and that tends to be a strong suit for Belal, but against a guy like Burns, I think that's really going to negate Belal's wrestling. So I'm going to go Gilbert Burns by unanimous decision. Who would like to go?
Fuck. Get the call. I'll go real quick because I have this idea about bro, like it's this fight is so hard to pick because Gilbert's one of these guys, man, that like he's really good, really, really good. The ground game is in this point in the UFC especially is probably very, very top tier, top maybe 1 or 5 across the entire organization. But Belal, whatever the hell Belal has been taking since the pandemic has been some shit because the man has been fighting, I think, on a different gear. His forward pressure has been crazy. His strikes have been lengthy and rangy and consistent and straight. The technique has been great. The mix in with the ground game has been great. The ground control has been really good. And Gilbert Burns is an animal, but like it really begs the question: who do you think has the best ability to win this fight? And as much as I want Belal to win this fight, it's just really hard for me to pick against Gilbert Burns right now. He's got the 2 losses to Hamzat and to Kamaru, but the Kamaru one, he was doing pretty well up until he wasn't. And the Hamzat one was a back and forth banger that really wasn't fought as smartly as it could have been fought. But I think he knew that. I don't think it's lost on them that was something that he could have made improvements on going forward. But the Belal one is too important. This is the one that's going to get him to the belt. This is the one that's going to get Gilbert really what he wants. So I'll go with Gilbert Burns by split decision.
Well, okay, Mark.
You are right. The odds are very close. Gilbert Burns is a slight favorite at minus 125. Belal is the slightest of underdogs at plus 105.
Wow.
1 inch height and 1 inch reach for Belal, so not much to note there. Pretty much the same size. This fight was made on pretty short notice for both fighters. But on one hand, you have Gilbert Burns coming in fresh as a daisy, dying to fight on this card. And on the other, you have Belal Muhammad, who just recently finished observing Ramadan and was kind of vocal about not wanting to fight so soon after it. But he was convinced to take the fight. He was farther from weight than Gilbert. And on top of all that, Gilbert somehow convinced him in the UFC to make this a 5-round fight. So in normal circumstances, I think I would have been really 50-50 on this fight. Maybe still landed on Burns in the end, but with all of what I just said factored in, I think it's Gilbert Burns' time to shine. I really do think that the matchup favors him here. All of Belal's wins on this run that he's on have come against guys who he can expose in a certain area, like Damian Maia, wrestling, Stephen Thompson, wrestling, Vicente Luque, wrestling, Sean Brady, striking. Gilbert Burns ain't that guy. You are not exposing Gilbert Burns anywhere because he's not weak anywhere. Like, Belal has had a lot of success on the feet because most guys are so conscious of being taken down that they leave themselves open for him to land. And Gilbert isn't going to give a shit. He's happy to work his jiu-jitsu. So he's going to go for it on the feet. I expect him to look comfortable there the same way he did against Chimaev, honestly. And on the feet, he's the much better striker. He has more variety, better setups than Belal, better counters than Belal, more power, natural power. It's all in his favor there to me. And not to mention his best friend, Vicente Luque, has fought Belal twice now. So I'm sure he can offer plenty of insight on little things that he picked up from fighting Belal, tendencies, things like that. And, of course, Belal beat Luque in the last one. But give me a guy in Gilbert who's comfortable and even dangerous on the mat if Belal takes him down, and who I believe is a level above in the striking, plus the fighter who seems to be more ready for this fight. I will roll with him. I'll say he makes a statement as well. I think he's going to put Belal out as this fight goes on. I'm going to say Gilbert Burns, 4th round TKO. Wow. And you would have to imagine that sets him up for a title shot against the winner of Colby.
Like, as much as I think Burns is going to win, Barrow, I really want Belal to win. Like, I really do.
All right, boys, it is main event time. Here we go.
We all said Burns there?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm surprised. That's why I wanted to go first.
I am too. All right.
I want to pick Belal so bad, but this is one of those.
I'm a Gilbert guy now.
Now.
I used to be like, oh, he's cool. But now I'm like, he's my guy.
Beat Street Jesus. Let's go on the train.
I tried to talk up why he was the toughest matchup that Usman ever faced.
Yeah, man.
Didn't go so well, but
nope.
Nah, it was probably the Chimaev fight that made me really into a Burns guy.
The Chimaev fight was a great showing for both.
Great fight, man.